You're listening to the Claret and Big Blue podcast on the Pass the Gravy Podcast Network.
Damn, Daniel.
Who do you think you are? I am. It's Pettis to Jones. Oh, what a catch by Daniel Jones.
Taken away by Wicks. Lantini. Oh, it's glorious.
Action over the middle. Touchdown, Giants.
Give me a hell yeah.
And we are live.
We'll do it live.
Welcome everyone to Claret and Big Blue, probably the only podcast on the internet dedicated to West Ham United and the New York Giants. That's right, football and football balls for everyone's taste. We're on episode 48. We are, of course, live across Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. If you are listening on demand, and yes, I'm talking to you. I know you're listening right now on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Join us live every Tuesday at 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central. My name is Mike Fish, and I am joined, as always, by the linchpin, the man that holds together the Rod Ryan Show because he eats that special cereal. It's Mr. Alex Middleton. Alex, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, dude, and it's all because I start my day with a nice bowl of Honey Bunches of Oats cereal because I have a lot to get done every day, and post cereal, they really help me out with the Honey Bunches of Oats. Nailed it.
Shout out to them.
Nailed
for
it.
making this possible.
But
How
then
you
I got through
doing?
this. I'm doing great, dude. Dude, it's just like it's another one of those weeks. Sometimes it works out for you. And we had ourselves a hell of a Sunday, and Wheezy's jacked about it. I don't know if you can hear her. She's squeaking her. She's got the duck, and she's killing the fuck out of this duck right now. But yeah, dude, what a week we're having.
It's the second Sunday in a row in which the Giants and West Ham played in the same day and both won. It's pretty epic.
That is true, yeah. All right, hey, let's chill out.
Chill out, Wheezy. Chill out, Wheezy.
She's excited.
Yeah. So other than that, did you get up to anything over the weekend before the epic Sunday? How was your Saturday?
I went up to a Sam Houston game. My alum, the longest active college football winning streak in Division I. By the way, thoughts and prayers about your Wildcats. Saw that. I mean, didn't look like it was a great first game, but I got to go to see Sam Houston State. They played a school called Dixie State that I didn't really know existed until like this season. But yeah, they got a win 59-10 and got to see some of the past Gravy athletes that my other podcast sponsors. So it's cool.
Yeah, what's the Kentucky game? Like 45, 42, according to ESPN.
Something like that. Yeah, I just saw Kentucky lost, and I was like, oh, I wonder if Mike saw it. I don't think he saw it.
No, I spent my Saturday at a brewery, and I drank
saw
way
your
too
Instagram
much.
stories.
Yeah, I was busy boy this weekend. Most importantly, before I get into my Sunday, because I had a very fun Sunday. How was your daylight savings? What did you do with your extra hour?
I forgot about it.
Nice.
I was playing Xbox and I was watching football, and I kind of just fell asleep on the couch and was like, well, that's it.
Yeah, I did.
That cool. My clock in my bedroom was off.
Yeah, that's what throws me off.
And I was like, wait. Because I feel like I'm up even earlier than I usually am on like a Sunday. I was drinking last night. And so I was like, all right, well, I'll get up and make coffee and like watch, get ready for West Ham. I watched, was it Tottenham before us? Whoever it was before us. Like I watched most of that game.
That was the boring game against Everton, right?
Oh, yeah. Tottenham and Everton. It was 0-0.
0-0, yeah. I think Tottenham had a shot on target for that the whole game.
No, but it was great to watch. I like that.
Yeah, that's why we don't talk about that.
Tottenham being bad makes me very happy. But yeah, dude, that was kind of tight. But just daylight saving was like that. I don't know. I'm not as shocked about it as a lot of people seem to be.
No, I remember one time. I think it was in England when we was experiencing daylight savings. It freaked me out because
y'all don't do it yet, right?
No, in England they do it the weekend before.
So you already did do it.
They already did it. Did the do thing.
That would make sense as to why.
Everything was an hour off because West Ham were playing like when we
Yeah.
played midweek, it was 4 o'clock.
It was 11:30 instead of 10:30.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
That makes sense.
but no, I remember being free because I was drinking. Don't get me wrong. So, but I remember being up one night and it was like 12:20, and I put on a movie, and then I got to the end of the movie and I checked the time and it was like 1 o'clock, and I was like, "Wait, what? That movie was longer than that. What the fuck?" And it took me a while to. But shouldn't sneak up on me while I'm drinking like that. But speaking of drinking, I did a lot on Sunday because I went to my first ever Giants game live and in person.
Yeah.
Oh, but so I don't know if you've ever been to MetLife Stadium or know the layout of the parking lot. Because obviously the big part, if you're going to experience it, you have to experience the full, tailgating and all that good shit. So a buddy of mine who got me the tickets was driving in, but he didn't have enough room in his car, so I had to take the train in. Not a problem until I got to the stadium, and he was like, "Oh, we're in parking lot P." And I looked on the map, and parking lot P was all the way the other side of the stadium and a 25-minute walk, which was awesome.
That's fun.
Yeah, but that's good. So it was good that I got there, put the West Ham
Because it's
game
weird
on.
when you think of like we have NRG Stadium that we do stuff at like for work sometimes, and like it when you're like, yeah, no, it's just over on this side. Like you think like I can just walk around a stadium. It can't take that long. But then it's like you don't just get to walk like directly around the stadium. You have to go around whatever barriers there are, and yeah, it's a pain in the ass. You're like, that makes sense. It is like an hour, and I didn't go anywhere really.
What could have been made it better? I wish I'd had some cash on me because then I could have just walked up to like a random tailgate party and just be like, "Here's like $5. Can I steal a beer for my journey to my tailgate, please?" But didn't do that. But then what I was shocked about, there was so many Raiders fans there, like ridiculous amounts of Raiders fans there.
Oh no! The Giants fans that were very upset in the beginning of the season started to sell their season tickets very early. So that's probably why there were so many Raiders fans there.
Because there was like a lot of noise.
Raiders fans do travel.
Yeah, whenever the Raiders were doing well, there was a lot of noise in that stadium. I don't know how it portrayed on TV, but it was a lot of noise. But so we'll go into the game. Obviously, New York Giants beat the Raiders 23-16.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
So I watched the highlights. But I thought, because rather than rewatching the game, I thought it'd be fun because you watched it on TV, I watched it in person, just to have a little bit of a different point of view. So
we kind of were texting back and forth because I forgot. I remember you talking about that you were going, but I forgot that you had said that, and so I was just like commenting on the game, and you sent me the picture from your seats, which looked pretty solid. Those are some pretty good seats.
They were literally nosebleeds. There was one row behind me.
Yeah, but sometimes like the nosebleeds are like you get like the bird's eye view of like watching the play develop. Where there's times where you're like behind the like certain areas that you are, it's like you don't really get to see it as well. I don't know. I always think that like I always if somebody would sit up like nosebleeds before. Like I get that.
Oh,
I would have to sit. I would rather sit nosebleeds than pay $5,000 for a ticket.
Because I mean, you can still see everything pretty clearly. What's going on in the field?
Yeah,
and
I would say you get a better angle.
Like, I guess if you're close, you have to be doing like the tennis shit. We have to keep what's going on over there. What's going on over here? Nope. Saw the whole thing in HD. Fun fact though. So when we arrived just as the game was starting, and we figured, all right, the game's just starting. Right, there's no rush. Let's go get some beers to take back to our seats. And while I'm lining up, very early on, obviously, Daniel Jones throws it to Evan Ingram, and we score a touchdown. And I'm like, solid, yay! Fuck, I missed it. And then I was like, oh, if that's seriously the only touchdown we score today, I'm going to be pissed. That's fast forward, second half. I'm like, well, I'm going to wait until like the game begins again before I go get the next beer round in. Raiders have got the ball. I got some time. Go downstairs. Pick six. Fuck's sake. So I missed both of our touchdowns.
So actually, what needs to happen now is you have to go to the games when they're home games, but you have to just stand in like the
concourse bit.
the concourse. Like you just have to do that.
Yeah, that's my new rule now. My new role. I just get like there'll be like a season ticket, but there'll be like a chair that's just in the concourse. So no, that's Mike's seat. He has to sit there for the whole game.
No, you have to stand in a line. You have to stand in like it just changes. Like you just gotta start drinking the beers faster or whatever it is.
Just get to the front, buy a beer,
maybe,
and I'll go back to the end of the line and drink it. And by the time I get to the front, let's get a new one.
You can let people cut you. You can no, you go ahead. You go ahead.
No, I still
this guy is just really polite. Like, what are you doing? I'm not allowed to watch it, but I have to be in the stadium. I'm like the cat. You don't always see me, but I'm here. But they have the TVs in the concourse, don't they?
Yeah, so I saw them happen, but
you're just like, I could be sitting in my seat being, with everybody around me.
Yeah. And before we dive more into the game, this is my more bitching about my live experience. See, I don't know whether this is an NFL thing or a MetLife Stadium thing or a Giants thing, but apparently as soon as the third quarter starts, they stop all alcohol sales. And I was like, what the fuck?
Well, I know they stop in baseball at a certain point
I think wasn't it after the seventh inning stretch?
Seventh inning, yeah, something like that.
That's like the last call for
alcohol. That also makes sense for football. I want to say at the game I was at on Saturday that they stopped selling in the end of the third quarter as well.
No, the end of the third quarter makes sense. This was the beginning of the third quarter.
Oh, like at halftime.
So basically, once they kick off for the second half, they shut that shit down.
Okay. I did not realize that's what you meant. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so I was not very happy to get to the front of the line and then be like, oh, no, we're not selling.
Honestly, it's kind of smart because people have been pre-gaming.
Chips?
Yeah. Do you want a soda pop?
No, I don't. But yeah, so talk us through the game, I guess. So from the more analytical perspective, how do we look on TV? Because I mean, I was shocked that Evan Engram scored a touchdown. We got a couple of interceptions, a pick six. Was it as because obviously I was in person, so I was hyped all the time. But if I was watching on TV, maybe I'd have been like, "Oh, this sucks. Why are we doing the blah blah blah?" So how was it from your perspective?
I mean, I felt like our defense has just like, I don't want to say we're good, but our defense has gotten better the last 3 weeks. I mean, Xavier McKinney was a beast with 2 picks, 1 pick six. He had 2 passes defended. He was kind of just all over the place. The Raiders, it felt more like, it's like you could say, did the Giants win the game or did the Raiders lose the game? I would say this felt like the Raiders lost the game because I felt like they had a couple of opportunities that they really just weren't able to get going. Like,
they had the missed field goal.
Hit the ball there. Yeah, they had that. And if you look at that, then they're playing for a field goal at the end of that instead of trying to like score a touchdown and go up, because then they had to kick a field goal anyways to get within the points. But yeah, that really changes the game, missing that. And because Carlson was kind of good forever, it just made you really appreciate Graham Gano this weekend. And
another 11 points.
Yeah, another 11 points. He's just coming through pretty clutch. But offensive line wasn't great. But Danny got it done. Danny wasn't like used a lot. They did. I feel like we said this last week that Devontae Booker had to really be a focus of the offense if that was going to be part of the game. Like if we were going to win the game, we had to have a run game established. And I thought Devontae Booker had the best game that I've seen him have as a Giant, at least. That really kind of got some things going, and then allowed Danny to, like, he was 9 for 9 in the first half. I think he threw for like 115 yards or whatever. Like, he didn't throw for a ton. And it like the play calling offensively is just horrendous. Like, it's one of those words, like, I don't think Danny's bad. I think that like Jason Garrett just fucking sucks at play calling, where there were so many times that I felt like we had shots downfield that we could have taken that just, it never happens. Like I was looking, it was like 2.7 yards per throw were like what his averages were, just dinking and dunking. And like, yeah, it worked getting down the field a little bit, but like you have receivers like Kenny Galladay, you have Kadarius Toney that, I mean, he existed for a little bit, but not really. Like, you need to use those guys. John Ross just makes big catches. And I think he did have a big catch this week, just like, you gotta have him out there. You gotta have him throwing the ball, man. And like we don't take shots downfield. You have to make them respect you to do that, or they're gonna crowd the box and stop Devontae Booker. And Booker was able to do it because the Raiders just couldn't figure it out. It was like they stopped tackling at points in the game. I was really surprised the way that the Giants did the way that their offense was just like doing absolutely nothing, but we were still in the game and like leading the game. The defense really won it for us, I feel like. But I think we have the right pieces there. We just don't have anybody that can call a play with shit. Like Jason Garrett is just a bad play caller, and he does the same predictable screen. Like, okay, we're gonna do that, and then 6-yard run to the flat, or 6-yard out to the flats, and we're down 2 yards short of the first down. Punt the ball. Like that's kind of how it works with Jason Garrett, unless we can get a field goal. But we suck in the red zone. I mean, really, the one time that he lets Danny air it out was the Evan Ingram play. The Evan Ingram play went for a touchdown. So, like, maybe let Daniel do that. And that was a great throw by Daniel and a great catch by Ingram, who usually doesn't like to catch the ball. So it was nice to see him go do the right thing for a change.
And he actually caught it and forced himself through. He didn't like he caught it and go down.
Or fumble it or anything. Yeah, just hand it to the other team. But, Alex, what did you think?
Well, I was just gonna say, Alex O's joined us live on YouTube. So I should have challenged the Raiders fans to feisty cuffs. I think it's supposed to be fisticuffs.
I like feisty cuffs.
Feisty cuffs. There was a couple of fights in the crowd, which was quite funny, but none by me. There was actually one funny. So again, my seats were literally the second from the worst, as they would say, because there was one row behind me all the way up, and there was a Raiders fan sitting 2 seats down from me. And he was one of those guys, you know, with like the big chain and the Raiders logo on. He was like super into it.
Shoulder pads.
Yeah, I was like, where did you think you were sitting? You're like, no one's gonna see. Like, you're not gonna be on TV. No one's gonna see you. But that was quite. But it was fun because I got super into it when we picked off at the end to win the game. Basically, I was like a third of his size, but I was getting in his face. So, let's go! But he just tucked his tail between his legs and left. It was quite funny. But it was a fun game, I think. Yeah, it was just kind of frustrating, I guess, just watch. But I will say the running game, again, I haven't looked at the stats like really into it, but I thought the running game was way better than
21 rushes for 99 yards is what Devontae Booker had. And then when he got banged up, Elijah Penny kind of had to step in. And I actually was listening to post game afterwards. I was watching my dog, and Joe Judge was asked, like, well, I mean, that's with Saquon out, you didn't even bring in another running back. What do you think is gonna like what were your plans if you know had something had happened to Penny where you're running with a fullback? And he was like, we have Cullen Gillespie. Like, we do have a backup fullback, which is a very Joe Judge thing to have. Is like we have 2 fullbacks on the roster. But Cullen Gillespie, I believe, is also from Katy, Texas. So shout out to Katy, Texas. That's where I went to high school out there. But Devontae Booker really led the way with the 99 yards. He would have had over 100 if he hadn't gotten injured. And Elijah Penny, it's such a luxury to have a guy that can block like that, which is why you've seen him used so much, because he is like the way the offensive line has been this year. You've needed Elijah Penny in a couple of in quite a few situations, not just a couple, but like to like just get that chip block to give Daniel a little bit extra time to make a throw, because there were times where just that offensive line is not making any head waves or anything like that. It's just it's awful, and Danny did the most that he could with what he did, but he was able to take sacks when he needed to take sacks, and he was able to like use the run game to open up the stupid dumb passes that were allowed from Jason Garrett or called from Jason Garrett. But the Giants offense runs like 12 plays. Outside that like initial like opening 20 or whatever plays that they schedule, they just like, this is how we're gonna write up a drive. This is what we're gonna do. Like outside of that, they suck at play calling most of the time.
Oh yeah, it wasn't the play calls that were good, because there was the reason I mentioned about the running game being better than I thought it was there was several times where Daniel Jones would like pass off the ball, and I would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And this guy like would just run into a crowd of people, but then somehow he would like make it through and get like 5 or 6 yards. Like, oh shit, okay. So it wasn't necessarily the play calls were good. It was the people actually on the field executing them made chicken salad out of chicken shit or whatever the saying is.
And that's honestly like what the entire positives on the Giants offense have been, this like big playability, which is always good to have big playability. And you want to draw up things that lead to big plays like that. But you can't I think we're seeing a little bit of that with the Chiefs this year. The Chiefs have just the entire run of the Chiefs has been, it doesn't matter. Like if we have defense, like watch this, like we could throw a 79-yard touchdown bomb 2 times a game and we'll be fine. We'll be back in any game we're out of. And they've been able to do that. And then this year, it's like people somehow have gotten on to how to stop that. And it's really affected them. I don't know if it's Patrick Mahomes being injured or other things like that, but you can kind of see people like catch up to that. And the way the Giants offense is going, nothing positive is going to come out of just doing the same exact shit like that. Like against the Saints, we had the big plays that won us the game. I mean, with the Raiders, we had the defense won us the game, really. And then the Evan Ingram play, and there were a couple other offensive plays with Devontae Booker and Elijah Penny that were allowed us to like set up that way. But just Jason Garrett holds us back. And if we had somebody that would actually call plays that went with the team that we have, like why is Kenny Golladay so little? Like why is he involved so little in the offense? It makes no sense. Like we spent all that money for him, throw him the damn ball, run some routes for him, and he's not a guy that's just gonna dink and dunk to. Like he's not a slant's gonna burn your guy. That's Kadarius Toney. That's that's Sterling Shepard on our offense. Like we have to run post routes. We have to run yards, like routes that are more than 10 to 15 yards. Sometimes you got to send a guy out there and just let Danny beat him. And he does that once or twice a game, and he did it with Evan Ingram. It's like, maybe go back to that. I don't know. But then draw play, screen. Like it's predictable. Out route, stop route, 4 yards short of wherever. Like that's 100% what it is. And Jason Garrett's play calling relies so much on things we were just talking about, like I thought he was going into a crowd of people and he just came out the other side, just still going. It's like that was what we were able to do receiving wise. Kadarius Toney was able to make plays with his feet, but like when you're throwing the ball short and all of your play calls are the ball being 3 to 4 yards short of the sticks, like you're relying on a guy to juke somebody out or do something insane every single time. And it works out every now and then and it's cool. But if that's 100% of what you're relying on every time, it's not like the odds are not in your favor.
Right. I mean, I think it all goes back to, like you were saying right at the beginning, where I think this is ultimately, as positive as it's nice to be, this is definitely down to a Raiders loss rather than a Giants win. Because even just, I mean, I know stats can be used to prove anything, but if you just look at it, right, total yards, 403 for the Raiders. We only had 245. But then I think the big one is penalties. They had 6 penalties for 65 yards. We only had 4 for 35. So I think
none in the second half. None in the second half. So,
but
disciplined team. Maybe Joe Judge just turned the corner here, huh?
Yeah, but yeah, I think this was a game they could have won. They should have won. To be fair, I was expecting
our defense showed up, dude. Our defense that's let us down time in and time out did show up. Although I don't know what they were doing. It felt like if the Raiders, like conversely or aversely, I'm using the word wrong, but where the Giants go too much to the screen pass when it's not working and it just keeps losing yards. The Raiders, they left them wide open in the flats the whole time. I guess they covered Darren Waller, and we're usually bad at covering tight ends, so they just left open a running back every single time. But it was just check down pass to a tight end or check down pass to a running back, and then he was wide open in the backfield and first down or 6 yards, 7 yards, and that's how they were kind of chipping away at that lead, and they made it into such a game where if we stop that as well, like the little out routes in the flats, like if we'd stop that stuff, then I think we could have had a more of a Carolina type game.
Yeah. And ultimately the Raiders quarterback is going to have Xavier McKinney in his nightmares for quite a while.
That was cool. I was glad that X had a coming out party. It was nice to see.
Throw it up. Throw up the cross hammers for Xavier McKinney.
So we did say they could beat the Raiders last week. We did say that.
So that was going to be step one of our season-long
win the next game.
Win the next game.
So our next one is don't lose the bye week.
And I'm coming out of this game. I'm feeling pretty confident of that.
I'm feeling pretty.
It feels to be close, well. But I'm feeling confident.
No, I think we got this bye week covered. But Then we come back from the bye week, and we got Monday Night Football against the Bucks. Then we go Eagles at home, at the Dolphins, at the Chargers. Chargers have not been the same Chargers they started the season as. Maybe we can beat up the Chargers. I'm not saying we're gonna beat the Bucks, but I think we can hang with the Bucks.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
If we beat the Bucks, my confidence level about this team is gonna be dangerously high. And it's gonna just be like, Alex, talk yourself down for a second because you're getting too excited. Because I feel like this is a team that's gonna break our heart. I love them, and I'm talking shit like we're gonna win out. But I feel like they're a team that's gonna break our heart, and I'm just ready. I'm ready to get hurt again because they saw like just the little things that we did, the pick sixes, the defense coming up when they needed to the most. Like it's just like, all right, fine, we're back. And then riding off that West Ham game also just kind of felt like it was like a even better day anyway. So it was like it just made that win even sweeter.
Well, before we turn our attention to West Ham, the only thing, remember, even though it is an international break and a bye week this weekend, so you think, what have I got to look forward to next Monday night? We have the return of Eli Manning to Monday Night Football.
Thank God.
Because this Monday sucked watching not Eli.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were off.
No, I remember they mentioned it the week before. They were talking about their bye week or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, kind of, but yeah, it's Monday Night Football was way better.
Yeah, like especially even when it's your team. That was the biggest question I had was like, am I gonna care more like about wanting to watch the regular broadcast while it's like my team playing? And it's like, no, I would much rather have Eli do that. But and I wonder if it's the same way for other people that are fans of other teams that like Peyton and Eli didn't play for. But
probably
it's
not.
like if you don't give a shit about a game, then like last night's game, it would have been cool to have on. Like, I don't
it's like when we lost on Monday Night Football,
about the Steelers or the Bears.
It softened the blow because it was kind of like, oh yeah, Giants are losing, but whatever. I'm shooting the shit with my buddy Eli. Whatever.
And it gives you interest in games you wouldn't care about, where you're like, I wonder what Eli and Peyton are up to tonight, huh? I wonder what those crazy guys are talking about.
I wonder what kind of chicken he's going to have this week. I hope he does that every week now.
He should. He should have to.
Speed eat a
See
chicken
how
wing.
fast he can, what the high score he can get is.
But on that note, before we switch, if my browser is behaving itself, which it's not, I can't seem to click anything, which is awesome.
Not ideal.
Not ideal. Okay, yep. So before we switch over to West Ham, you earned it this week because we won. Give it up for
Damn, Daniel.
Or not. Come on, stream.
We got it. Damn, Daniel. Yo.
Did it play?
Yes, it did.
Oh, I didn't hear it. So, but yeah, it's good. Damn, Daniel. Fucking hell, what's going on with this shit? Anyway, so West Ham played 2 games. I think we can kind of breeze over the Europa League game pretty quickly because obviously the main event was the Liverpool game. But
yeah, who cares? Genk tied us. We didn't want to win it all. We didn't want to win all the games. We were still unbeaten.
We're still unbeaten, and technically we won that game 3-1 because Souček scored a goal. And it was an awesome goal, to be fair.
It was so cool that they should have allowed it anyways.
Yeah, that was such a good own goal. We're actually going to award the goal for West Ham because hats off.
Great point.
But good news coming out of that. One, Ben Rama scored 2 very good goals, which is always nice to see. Our very own Old Onion Volcano doing well. But also we have now officially booked our tickets to the knockout rounds of the Europa League.
Fuck yeah.
Obviously, we still may go into the Champions League playoff, which is not ideal, but I think we're 4 points clear with 2 games to go. We're
good.
Yeah, we've got Dynamo Zagreb and Rapid Vienna. All we need to do is win one of those games, and one of those games is at home. So I'm pretty confident we can still win that group. And
I think that they kind of
skip around.
I felt like didn't put all their guys out there. I mean, they did have a pretty solid lineup again, but I didn't expect Antonio out there. Antonio was right.
Yeah, when they announced the lineup, I was kind of like, okay, I don't agree with this, but I can at least get their thinking of like, I guess that's because if we win this game, then we win the group and we're laughing. So let's try to get a couple of goals up early and then we can take him off at halftime or something. But obviously it didn't go to plan because I don't know what was going on in the first half. We were not that
we
great.
Just didn't play, man.
No. So I think ultimately
it was a totally different team in the second half than it was the first half. But
yeah, it's very frustrating to draw a game, especially when it's an own goal that does it. But I think they were a much better team in the first half. We were a much better team second half. So I think a draw is fair, I guess. But whatever.
Their keeper had some pretty awesome saves there in the second half too. Like I felt like we could have had like 4 goals, maybe more than that. The way that we were playing, and I don't know. I think maybe it left us a little hungry for Sunday. Maybe that's what happened. All things happen for a reason.
Yes. So then on Sunday we played Liverpool, and spoiler alert, because we are massive, we beat them 3-2.
Massive.
What are your thoughts on this? Okay, here's like a little debate that I want to bring up. So
that they were pissed that Liverpool was not winning, because they were definitely pissed that Liverpool was not winning.
Jurgen Klopp was so mad.
No, not even that. It was just like I felt like Arlo, who then was cool about West Ham afterwards online. He and what's his face, Graham
Lasso,
were just like oh. I mean, it's dreadful that Liverpool is within this, and it was just like, what? No, maybe just say West Ham's pretty fucking good, man. Just say West Ham's good, and then the officials just kind of like, that was weird. I don't know. I felt like we had 2 kind of weirdly officiated games. It wasn't as bad as the game. It just felt like it was things we had to set up for Liverpool for that goal. And I'm glad it didn't happen. And West Ham are fucking massive. And Zuma getting a goal was cool. Fornals was awesome. Just like such a fun team we got this year. And like I didn't realize that Liverpool was unbeaten all season. I did not realize that.
I don't think I've lost a game in the Premier League since like March or April. It's been a while.
Well, now they have. And now they have.
Because they
sitting pretty top 3, boys. Top 3.
Or joint second, as I like to call it.
Joint second.
I mean,
but third.
Because Man City have scored more. They've done the goal difference bullshit bollocks. But yeah, whatever. We're but yeah, the reason because I felt bad for Fornals because I think he should have been credited for 2 goals. Because even though technically the ball did come off Alisson's hand, my whole thing is if it's on target, it should be counted towards the offensive player. I think he should have been
like a goalie own goal. Yeah, a goalie own goal would be to me like if you like slipped and kicked it into your own net, or like you went back to throw it and it just fell out of your hand, or something like that happened where you caused it to go in. Where I thought Alisson was trying to make a save and it just went in. In hockey, it's like that. Like in hockey, if it hits your stick and goes in, it's not an own goal.
No, that you were just doing your job. You were trying to keep it out, and you failed. So, but it shouldn't be an own goal. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. Even Fornals said in an interview afterwards where he was like, "They said it was as an own goal, but that was my goal. I got 2."
Yeah, I know what happened.
And not to like harp too much on about Liverpool because obviously we're talking about West Ham massive. But what was their defender? Is it Trent Alexander-Arnold, the one at the end, or was it Alex?
Oxlade-Chamberlain.
The defender who just literally just stood there and watched Kurt Zuma score a header. And he was
Alexander-Arnold. Yeah, it was Alexander-Arnold.
Jesus Christ!
Alexander-Arnold.
I would be embarrassed, but yeah, that was an easy goal. I was so happy for that.
Yeah, dude, I mean, it was one of those like so I was watching it as the Giants were starting, so I switched to Giants on my TV, put West Ham on my computer, and then had Red Zone on my iPad, and was just like my cousin was over watching the games, and like he was like giving me shit about watching soccer. I was like, dude, shut the fuck up, we're watching West Ham. And he was just like, I was like losing my shit when we scored that third one because it was kind of just after the Giants had started. And yeah, dude, that was fucking sick. It was like, all right, maybe if the Giants can fuck around, we could win this game. And then we ended up doing that, and it was just It was like a great fucking Sunday. The best Sunday I've had in a very long time.
Because the goals were in like pretty close proximity to each other. Because I remember, because at the time while I was tailgating, I had the West Ham game on my phone. But then obviously once I got to the stadium, I needed my phone for the ticket, and then I was going through and getting blah blah blah. And so it was obviously 1-1 when I last saw it, and then I got to my seat, and I opened it up again. It was like 3-1. I was like, "What the fuck happened?" I was so happy.
No, it was nuts, and it felt like. I mean, it was the Allison own goal, but then it was 67th minute and 74th minute from Fornals, and then Zuma just put it away. But it felt like a goal that put him away. It was 3-1 at that point. I mean, I know that they did end up scoring another one, but at that point it was like, okay, it is Liverpool, and I assumed they were going to give him like 6-7 minutes added time, like they always do whenever we're down or whenever we're beating like one of the big teams. But they only gave him 4 minutes, which I still thought was a little much, but whatever. Then like just hanging on to do that was awesome. And I was just like, that is, even with stoppage time, it'll probably be close. And I wasn't shocked when they got that second goal, but I was really nervous that they were gonna come even. And I was just like, at least we drew against Liverpool, but like if we could take 3 points, this is awesome. This is massive. And we're a fucking good club. We're a good club, and the haters are furious because they weren't talking about West Ham being good. They were talking about, well, what happened to Liverpool? How? It's like, well, I mean, it's their first loss. It happens, and they lost to a good team. We're top 3. We're third. We're the 3rd best team in the league right now. Just relax. We're a good team. Maybe talk about how good West Ham is.
Yeah, I was watching a show that airs from the UK. I know I spoke about it before with TalkSport, and I can't remember the guy's name was, but they were talking about would it be shocking? Like, how shocking would it be for West Ham, like, to finish in the top 4 this season? Blah 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 blah. And the other guy was like, "Why? Why would that be shocking? Like, they were 2 points off top 4 last season, so it's just not like
we were having the same discussion last year.
I mean,
this is just like, we're not a fluke. We're a good team. Like, this is a team that's got staying power. That is this is a fucking new thing. Fuck around, West Ham's gonna stay.
Do I think they have the lasting power to maybe win the league? Probably not. But why are people shocked that they're in the top 4? Like, they're a good team right now. Like, so
yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But I mean,
I just think people get held up on.
Let them hate.
Just look back.
Let them hate.
They just think of West Ham from 4 or 5 years ago, where like the fighting for relegation, and so they just still can't get their head around that. No, we've had 2 good seasons under a good manager. We've got great players in now. We're working as a team.
It's like Leicester. You just don't hear anybody talk about Leicester. And like now, even like that West Ham's in there, like West Ham's in like a top 3 spot. It's not about us. It's about Arsenal climbing back up at the table. Arteta, he's really helped this team turn around. Good on them for believing in him. It's like West Ham is 3rd. Talk about that.
3 points ahead of Arsenal.
I know that some of them care about cups, but like in the last like month, we've beaten Man United, Man City, and Liverpool. Ever heard of them? Like, put some fucking respect. Put some fucking respect. They never will. I don't need it.
Even if West Ham
keep hating, watch us keep staying.
If West Ham were to win the Premier League, all the conversation would be about how Man City and Chelsea, Liverpool dropped the ball. They wouldn't talk about how great West Ham have been to win the league. It would all be about how bad the other teams must have been and shit like that. It's the same bullshit. But whatever.
Which is weird because
let them hate. Let them hate.
But in soccer, that is like such a weird thing where you don't feel that way in baseball, but in soccer, it's like, well, they should have paid more to players to get more players and be better and do things like, or the players could have just played better. Like maybe the guys they had just like Moyes doesn't like, we don't have the best guys. We have the right guys and they play for Moyes. They play in Moyes' system. And that's cool to watch where you kind of see like United right now. It's like, we got a bunch of guys, but they're the right guys. You saw that with like Barcelona when they got off to their struggle. Like maybe like you just hadn't figured out like the culture and exactly what y'all wanted to do with that after you've had some bigger name people leave. Like West Ham doesn't have anybody. It's like, oh, it's obviously Rice is our star. But like other than that, it's not like you're not having Ronaldo trying to fight for time with a Pogba, who's trying to fight for time with Fernandez, and then have Lingard on the bench just wanting playing time and stuff too. Like we've got guys that just want to fucking win, and that's cool to see.
Alex was saying the good old PTG days when Alex talked about a possible West Ham relegation. Alex, no,
so far away.
So hey, don't get me wrong, PTG. Whenever there's a PTG day, that's a good day. However, that wasn't a good day when it's talking about relegation. Sorry. But whatever.
He was joking. Though,
I know.
But yes, I mean, there was this talk before the pandemic about like, are we getting relegated? The pandemic arguably saved West Ham for a little bit.
Speaking of that,
and David Moyes,
pass the gravy. Like, I don't. Do the other boys? I don't feel they talk about West Ham enough because I know there are massive West Ham fans because they have.
But shout out to Alex O though. Alex O was like tweeting during the game, and then David Ruiz was posted about it. It's cool seeing the guys that like are part of this and also part of Pass the Gravy. Like they're just like, fuck it, West Ham's my Premier League team. I don't care. I'll root for it.
Official team.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I'll pass the gravy. West Ham United. But also, okay, but you're talking about, say, spending money. Side note, I do have to get this a little bit off my chest of where like people bitching. And I appreciate social media. You're not going to get away from people bitching. That's never going to happen.
People love to bitch on social media. Yeah.
But when people are, like, for example, Man City won the Premier League, and they're like, oh, yeah, because they spent all that money on the players. It's like, okay, but they still won. No, yeah, but if it wasn't for that money, they wouldn't have the good players. Yeah, but they do have the good players. That's why they're the best team. Like, it just doesn't. Okay, so what? They spent a lot of money, and it's annoying that my team doesn't have as much money as them. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that they had the best players in the team and they won. It's just weird. Like people try to find excuses to not feel insecure, I guess, about their team. It's hilarious.
So sometimes it just goes our way, guys. Every dog has their day.
Because we haven't spent that much money.
And but what if we don't finish top 4? We finish like 5th through 6th, and then it's like we just become like a Europa dynasty. I guess if you win Europa, you're in Champions League, so that wouldn't happen.
Alex, so the only thing Pat will do is blow bubbles. Hey, what he does in his personal, his own time is none of my business.
Yeah, Pat's always, I'm going to come out and watch a game with you. He's never done it. Never done it.
But yeah, if you go back to...
I'll do it this season, and then it doesn't happen.
What was it, like episode 200 and something? He was almost the one to convince you to become a West Ham fan. And
he was the one to convince me. He showed me the song. He told me that... He's like, West Ham's got a cool history. And I was like, I'm in. Let's do it.
I have to try to get him on this show. Although he hates streaming.
He'd probably do that. He'd probably do that, though.
Well, has he upgraded his equipment? Is he still working on his iPad and Xbox headset?
Yep.
Maybe unless he sits right next to his Wi-Fi router, I don't think it's gonna work.
She's got to plug it right in, plug the USB in. Gotta figure out we get some kind of connector for that, but I don't know.
Throwback Tuesday to PTG 400 when he did not have fun.
He didn't at all.
Good times. But yeah, I think so. That's pretty much wraps it up. I guess we don't want to look too much ahead because we want content for next week since there's no Giants game this weekend, no West Ham game this weekend. So what are you looking forward to this weekend? Is there any games in the Premier League or NFL that you kind of like? If I can't watch my team, I'm gonna check this shit out.
The Premier League?
No, not Premier League because it's international.
Right, I was gonna say, yeah. Well, you mentioned the Premier League.
Yeah, no, I fucked up.
Week 10 games. Yeah, I don't really. Saints Titans might be good. I'm just scrolling down as we're looking as I'm doing this.
The only things that jump out to me is I kind of like, okay, I want Tampa Bay to beat Washington. I want the Eagles to lose. I want the Falcons to beat the Cowboys. That's all I'm gonna be watching. I'm just hoping that
Packers Seahawks will be interesting.
Because I mean,
Browns, Patriots, huh? That's a good one.
because if we fly back, I mean, if everyone can lose, and then we win our next game, suddenly we're 4-6, second in the division behind the Cowboys, who are only 6.
It is November. It is November. What does Dallas do in November?
Nothing.
They lose. What did they do first week in November?
And they
They lost.
I don't, because obviously I didn't watch their game because
not
it
by
was
a
on
little
the same
bit.
time as the Giants game. But whenever they did on the big screens, the quick red zone update, and it was like 16-0 against the Cowboys, 24. Oh, Jesus, are the Cowboys even there? Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. I was watching the Giants more, but then it was just like, this is awesome. Like, what a day. Like, coming off the West Ham win, just watching, like, the Cowboys are losing. The Eagles are losing. Washington doesn't play, so they can't lose. But we're winning. Like, it was quite a day.
And then my boy, Max Verstappen, wins the Formula 1 again.
And that.
I have to get you into Formula 1 somehow.
Yeah, fantasy football action and parlays is what Alex O is looking forward to this weekend. Yeah, solid.
Maybe I need to start gambling this weekend.
Do it.
But I'm not going to do it until I get to watch this week's Bet the House, because those guys seem to know what they're talking about.
And Felipe, yeah, those guys know a few things about a few stuff.
We're gonna have to try to get him on the show one week.
He's a very difficult guy to schedule, but he kind of works on his own.
I'm just gonna try to milk all this shit. I'm gonna try 1 week. I'm gonna get Dante on to predict the West Ham Giants game, and then I'm gonna get the Pumpkin Spice hype man to pimp some of our t-shirts. It'll be maybe episode 50. Maybe episode 50.
Maybe
you you might have the connections. Maybe we could make.
I know the guys, but like, dude, I'm telling you, especially Dante, that guy is really tough to like nail down. Is like, hey, dude, is this just so? It's been a maybe. We've been trying to get on Pass the Gravy for years. It's always been just a firm maybe.
I mean, the guy's busy. He's either sleeping, betting, or just spending all the money he's winning,
or calculating how to win more money with the money he does have. It's amazing. Guy works night and day.
I can't even imagine what that guy's net worth is. He must be so rich.
He won't tell anyone. He's like Trump. He doesn't want you to see his tax returns.
Like, rumor has it,
that's how you tell net worth, but
he
doesn't want you to see his tax returns.
Rumor has it Elon Musk had to ask him for money to help him with the.
Oh, they're buddies, dude. They're buddies. He doesn't talk about it a lot. He's not a flashy guy. He is a flashy guy, but he's not a flashy guy about his friends. He's not a name dropper.
I bet. But yeah, hopefully we'll keep contact and try to make it happen.
I'll let him know, but I'm just gonna say it's gonna be a difficult thing to do, but we'll see what we can make happen.
Fingers crossed. The thing is, I wonder what outfit does he have, because he's anyway. But coming up this week, we have some more podcasts to look forward to. Obviously, we've got Past the Gravy, new episodes. Past Gravy Waffle new episodes tomorrow. What are the boys and girls of the Gravy Gang got to look forward to tomorrow's episode?
We are going to talk about pumpkin patches a little bit. Pumpkin patches are like hot during like Halloween and fall. I think hot right now. I got a very good money-making idea, my new pumpkin patch idea, but for Christmas, not pumpkins. Yeah. Stay tuned for that one. That's a good one. Then also going to talk about the Aaron Rodgers vaccine thing that everybody was freaking out over, and not so much to like I'm going to talk about like what I think about vaccines or anything. I'm just going to talk about how like fed up I am with everybody talking about it while I'm also talking about it then. And then satanic sacrifices. Satan's back this week, guys. Little spoiler alert for the comeback hits. Satan's back. We'll tell you why on tomorrow's Pass the Gravy.
I mean, yeah, not to get into that kind of thing, but obviously, hey, vaccinations, whatever. I'm not going to get into whatever. But one, from that Pat McAfee interview, two things. One,
If you didn't watch it all, shut the fuck up, and your opinion doesn't even matter because most people didn't watch it all. I watched all fucking 48 minutes of it.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me then. I was like, wait, what?
No. Just everybody.
But you could
talking
tell
shit.
he was a guy who was like, I'm trying to be as he was trying to be as political, not political, but in the sense that I'm trying to get my point across, but I also don't want to look like an asshole. And so he just said nothing for a while. It was kind of awkward. But what was quite funny is when he dropped Joe Rogan's name and Pat McAfee was trying to hold his laughter in. That was funny. Did you see that?
Yeah. And AJ Hawk was also doing that. But yeah, it's funny to me that like the same people that were not perceptive enough to ask him you're immunized. Does that mean that you got the COVID vaccine? So it does mean that like they didn't ask him that follow-up question. That's on you, dude. He lied to us. He lied to his teammates. He lied. It's like, no, none of that happened. He didn't lie to anybody. You didn't ask a follow-up question to his answer.
He was deceiving with his answer.
That's a very different thing. That's a very different thing.
Indeed.
You can take that to mean whatever the fuck you want it to mean, dude. I don't owe you shit when you ask me that. You're just a guy asking me questions. I don't have to fucking answer things. If Marshawn Lynch can sit up there and say, I'm just here so I don't get fined, then Aaron Rodgers should start doing all of his interviews that way. And be like, all right, I won't talk about it because I don't want to piss you off. I don't want you to be upset later on. Well, you told us. And he was like, my teammates knew, the front office knew, my coaches knew. He doesn't know anybody else any apologies or excuses that like fuck off.
You know, and I'm assuming the NFL knew as well.
Yeah, I would guess so. But like, I mean, this is kind of going into what I'm going to say again on the podcast tomorrow. But
Steve, the blogger, didn't know, and that's what the main thing. That's why you got to think about the bloggers.
Yeah, well, then it was like such a talking point. Like he ruined the sport of football.
Okay,
chill out, just relax.
On Waffle Box this week, main thing we're going to talk about is Marvel Eternals, another Marvel movie. But also big thing. It's going to be a big feature this week. I'm excited to talk about. Is did you see, Alex? Did you watch the National Toy Hall of Fame induction ceremony?
I didn't watch it, but I heard the nominees.
Oh, you heard the nominees? Did you find out who went in?
No, was it Sand?
Sand went into the Hall of Fame.
Sand make it?
And
I mean, what is this, the Beach Hall of Fame too?
So I was gonna do a little bit about that, but then I went down a rabbit hole and found out some of the things that were already in the National Toy Hall of Fame. Sticks are in it. It's a great list. I'm gonna enjoy talking about it on this week's Waffle Box.
Like, yeah, you can put those in there, but those don't get to be the first ones in there. Like, maybe add them later. Not honorable mentions, but like a stick. Come on. Who manufactures that? Earth?
Like, I mean, I don't want to ruin what I'm going to, but it's kind of like, hey, don't get me wrong. When I was young, sticks, you could do stuff, but to say it's a Hall of Fame toy, Jesus Christ.
I mean, everybody used it. Everybody had a stick that they used as a toy, but it's like I didn't have one stick. I had sticks in general. I don't know.
Oh, you had that stick? Oh, I had this Hasbro stick.
The fancy pants stick, yeah. I had a walking stick.
And to close the show, Alex, so literally it's hot in Texas for pumpkin patches, or as we like to call them, pumpy patches.
Pumpy patches. That's what the hype guy calls them. Yeah, we'll just wait till you hear my alternate idea. Instead of pumpkins, it's Christmassy, sort of.
So make sure you schedule your Wednesday accordingly by listening to Waffle Box in the morning and then Pasta Gravy in the evening. If you are listening to this, obviously, again, on demand, make sure next week you tune us in live Tuesday at 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Go to epod.com for all the links. And if you are watching this on YouTube and you're sick of our faces and you just want to listen to us instead, again, cbbpod.com for all the audio links. Good stuff.
Yeah, man. Good to go out with a win.
Indeed.
Wins.
And I'm going to try to play this one more time because I didn't get to enjoy it the first time.
Damn, Daniel.
Yay. See you next Tuesday.